Hey coaches, this is Erica Cuccinella, the Assistant Program Director with I-9 Tallahassee. First of all, we're so excited to have you on the I-9 team. Coaching with I-9 is so rewarding and challenging at the same time, and we're here to work with you every step of the way to ensure that you, the players, and the parents all have a fun and memorable season. So let's get started. First thing first, let's meet the owners, Chris and Christy Prowant. If you haven't met them already, you will. They're fantastic, and they started the I-9 Tallahassee franchise a few years ago. Each site in Tallahassee has its own site coordinator. First is Northside Community Center, which is off Meridian Road. And the site coordinator there is Tiffany Stark. And last, we have Holy Comforter Episcopal School off Miccosukee. And the site coordinator is Brittany Christie. Depending on your site, you'll get very close with your coordinator, and they're gonna be your go-to person for game days on the field. Before we dive into this training, some of you guys have had several seasons with us here at I-9, and some of you are brand new as coaches. But either way, it's so important to connect back to the core of what we do and why we do it at I-9. So for the kids, we provide a fun, safe experience in which kids can learn basic athletic skills, learn good sportsmanship, and develop their self-esteem. For parents and families, we provide a convenient, well-organized program that doesn't consume their whole life. This is what I-9's all about, and you and I are here to make sure that that happens. As an I-9 certified coach, you are the hands and feet of I-9. What you do is so important. In fact, it's the most important thing. Without you coaches, we wouldn't have teams, we wouldn't have games, we wouldn't have fun, we wouldn't have I-9. So I want you to know how much you're appreciated and how valuable your role is as an I-9 coach. The coaching standards for I-9 can be found online in the coaching guide, and we'll show you where that is later on in this video. Now, some of the highlights of the standards include: 1, you're a role model. Not only do the kids look up to you, but everyone is expecting you to lead with integrity. So we have to, as coaches, we have to demonstrate and promote good sportsmanship. We can't expect it from our players if we don't first exemplify it. Second, be enthusiastic. Make a big deal of the small positives. That's what I-9's all about, and it really makes a difference in the kids' experience. Third, be genuine. Players and parents will know if you're genuinely enjoying the time that you're spending with them. So make sure that you are, and you're also having fun. Be a teacher. This is all about helping children learn and work to improve their skills. And be patient. We all maybe struggle with this, but it's so important to stay calm when mistakes happen, because it's an opportunity to learn and provide feedback for the players. And most importantly, have fun. I-9 is all about maintaining that fun environment, and fun next to safety should always be the #1 focus. We know that kids join and stay in sports because they have fun, and we also know that they leave sports and quit when they stop having fun. So as coaches, it's our role to make sure we're laughing and having that great sense of humor. So moving into coach responsibilities, there's a few things that you will need to do before the season starts. The first thing is to complete your paperwork for your background check. Every single coach and assistant coach with I-9 has to pass a background check. That's for safety and integrity. Second, complete your coach's exam. The National Coaches Training is required for all I-9 coaches. You can find it online, and we'll show you a little later in this video. And it'll take about 45 minutes to complete, so make sure you do that before opening day. Third is to watch this video. This video is serving as your pre-season coaching meeting. So make sure to watch it, and if you have any questions, you can contact myself or Christy. Fourth, read your rules. Rules with I-9 Tallahassee are site-specific and of course sports-specific. So you will need to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to be successful on opening day. Lastly, email your parents. Once you're assigned a roster, make sure you email your parents, which is really easy through the online format. You can introduce yourself that way, remind them of i9sports.com, where they can find information about scheduling, jersey color, and also Very important, signing up for snacks, y'all. The kids love it, and it's a way that parents can also be a part of the process. So that all needs to happen before opening day. During the season, before each game, coaches are expected to reach out to their roster, email your parents. It doesn't have to be long. When I was a coach, I would just give them a snapshot of what we were going over for that practice. I would congratulate whoever won the medal the week before and just remind them of all the resources online where they can find jersey colors and sign up for snacks. Always do that snack plug. Like I said, it really makes a difference. When you arrive at the fields, we expect coaches to arrive 15 minutes before the start of practice. In I-9, there's a 30-minute practice followed by the game. So everything happens in one shot back to back. We expect you to arrive before practice starts. It's so crucial to be early because when you arrive on the field, the first thing you're going to do is check in at the red tent. That's going to be how we know that you're here. So whoever staff or your site coordinator, make sure to check and connect with them at the red tent the first thing you do when you get there. When you're at the tent, a lot of important things are happening. First, you're reminded what field number you are, what jersey color your team is, and you can pick up your sportsmanship medals, your player stat reports, and anything else that you need to have a successful game day. Remember to ask them about the sportsmanship value. Sometimes I remember I looked at it, but then I would forget when I got on the fields, and then it would escape me. So use your tent and your resources there. They will remind you of the value each week. This is also a great time to make your coordinator aware of any absences that you know of in the future so they can make a note in the binder. So that's another way to use that check-in process. Concessions are available at the tent. Everything is $1 for food and drinks. There's also shin guards and mouth guards available for purchase depending on the site and the sports there. There's a first aid kit and there'll be ice for injuries. So this is where the red tent is where we have everything that we need to make sure we have a smooth weekend. Also equipment. You can pick up balls, cones, jerseys, anything you need. Oftentimes they'll be on the field, but if not, go to the red tent. So that's the check-in process. Now you're on the field, you're ready to rock. You have to be wearing your red coach jersey. This is imperative. Not only is it a good visual cue for students, for the players, and also for staff, so we know where you are at all times and we can make sure that players know who their coach is. If it's cold outside, which we will get a couple cold days during the year, make sure that you're wearing any layers underneath your coach jersey. So your coach shirt should always be on top. Start and end practice on time. All practices are 30 minutes. Your site might have an extended practice time so that you will know through the rules and discussing with your site coordinator. You will receive a practice plan via email before each game day. Feel free to use this or honestly use your own. If you have your other drills or other things you think would be better for your team and their skill level, please feel free to do it. This is your team and we want it to fit your coaching style. Work with your assistant coach to ensure productive practice. Our goal is that every team has an assistant coach. It's so valuable. It's kind of a non-negotiable. You really need two people to manage a team properly. So make sure that two of you are connecting and talking so that you're both on the same page going into your practice. One recommendation for coaches is to start simple with your practice plans. Make sure you can gauge skill level. That will help you so you can see when you need to increase and challenge your players as appropriate. There are a ton of online resources that will help enhance your coaching experience, and they're all online, and we'll show you where to find them, including videos for practice. As a coach, it's your responsibility to introduce and reinforce the sportsmanship value each week. Y'all, this is so important. This is what makes I-9 really unique. So you've already gotten your sportsmanship medals at the tent, so you're ready. So the first thing you need to do is introduce the value. So what I used to do as a coach is I would huddle up my team, I'd tell them the sportsmanship value, and then I would have them define it. That was always fun for some of my younger teams, but it's really amazing to hear their perspective on different things. So once we came up with a good working definition of what the value actually meant, then it was my job to reinforce it throughout practice and the game. The whole point is that every player by the end of the season will get the sportsmanship value medal. This is so important. So you have to do a little bit of math. We have a 7-week season, so if your roster has more than 7 players, you're gonna have to hand out maybe 2 or even 3 on certain weeks. Whatever you need to do to make sure that every player by the end of the season has gotten one of these medals. And the best part is once they get their medal, they're already so excited, but wait, there's more. They're gonna get a yardstick. I know you guys have seen them at the tent, and you've probably taken them home if you're a parent when your kid got the medal. These are so much fun. They really love them. And you can either bring them to the fields with you or get them at the tent. If you don't have them with you, it's always fun to walk them over because the staff and the site coordinator at the tent loves to just take pictures and just pump them up and congratulate them for a job well done. So remind parents, though, that they can take the stakes home, put them in their yard, loud and proud, but bring them back the next week if they can. Make this fun, you guys. Make it a big deal. Make sure you give the medal and the yardstick out in front of parents and the whole team. It's really fun, and the kids really love it. Next is equal playing time. This is so important and what makes I-9 so unique. Each player should have the opportunity to play and try out new skills they learn. Also, rotate your players. Each player should try all positions throughout the season. Again, it's all about experimenting and having fun. Let your assistant coach help you here. I remember as a coach, sometimes I would just forget. So let them help you so we're rotating every child to play equal time every single game. So after the game, there's a couple things that you need to do as a coach. First and foremost, confirm your scores with the ref. Every ref should come up to you with their scorecard and you will initial it. Make sure it's right. I know it's exciting at the end and you're getting ready to high five everybody, but take a couple of seconds and make sure that that's right. That's how we verify scores as well. Make sure to collect all the balls and cones, put them in the black mesh bag that's there on the field, and leave it at your player's bench. That will help for the transition for the next game. Also, make sure to remove trash. We always pick up the fields at the end when we're breaking down, but it really helps when you guys pick up your own trash afterward, and every site has trash cans there. Then, once you've gotten home and you've settled in, whenever you're ready before the next weekend, go online, take a few minutes, and input your score for the game, your player stats, and who was your sportsmanship medal winner. These 3 things you have to do after each game. Trust me, you don't want to get behind on this because after you have a couple weeks and you have to back up and do it, it gets harder and harder to remember. So stay organized and just find a time during the week that's dedicated to putting in those stats. I just mentioned player stats actually. That's something we have for every single sport. We'll show you in a minute in this video. There are stat sheets. That's something you can get at the red tent or print out yourself and have a parent help you fill those out during the game. It's really fun to see how many goals someone scored or baskets and everything, and it just keeps a running total of that throughout the season. Remember for scores too, this is a reminder, if you're a coach of a Pee Wee team, we will take score every single game, but we will not have a championship game. So the scores are there and they do matter. We do input them in the system, so it is your responsibility. If you're a Mighty Might coach, we take score and stats for each game. It depends on the site and the ages. You may or may not have a championship game, but either way, we take score, so don't forget that. Now we're gonna move into coaching resources. We've been mentioning this throughout the video. Online, i9sports.com is your best friend. Y'all bookmark it, you will use it day in, day out, every weekend for sure. You will create a coaching account and you will have a login and a password. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to access a plethora of really helpful resources. First, the coaching tab. It has it all. Everything you need is under this tab. First is the coaching exam, which we mentioned. It's a national coaching training. Take about 45 minutes to complete. It has to be done before opening day. Then you can see your schedule, your roster, And lastly, this is where you'll submit your score, your stats, and your sportsmanship medal winners. It's all here, y'all. Then, underneath that is the actual resources. I encourage you to go through this before opening day and really get familiar with these resources. We'll go through really briefly and show you where they are now. First is your coaching guide. Remember those standards we talked about? Well, we just highlighted some things. This is a document I absolutely encourage you to read over. It'll take about 10 minutes. I've read over it, and it really helped me prepare my mind and my spirit before the start of the season. Then there's the practice plans. Like I said, these will get emailed to you before every game, but it's always good to go in. It's by sport and by age, and then by week. We take the guesswork out of all this. We want you to have fun. We want you to learn, but we don't want you to feel like you don't know where to start. There's always support there for you. Then there's the coaching videos. This is what we're talking about to enhance that experience. So along with plans and written out instructions and some visuals, we have these videos. They're great. I used to use them all the time because I am a very visual person. It helped me to see what it's supposed to look like on the field when I'm with my players trying to do this practice. Then we have something called play cards. I'll be honest, I didn't figure out this resource till way late in the season, and I wish I hadn't. They're awesome. They're visual and they're colorful, and the way they're set up, they are like cards, so they're really good for the coaches, but you can even print them out, or if you want to, tell your site coordinator, we can have some printed out for you in color, and you can give them to your players. It's a way for them to bring something home that reminds them of what they learned that day. They're really fun. I encourage you to check them out. Fifth, you'll see your stat sheets. That's by sport. Again, feel free to print those out, but we'll have those for you at the tent as well. And these are the kind of things that you'll be capturing. Sixth is the rule book. Can't emphasize this enough, y'all. It is your responsibility as a coach to know the rules for your site and your sport. Online, there'll be accurate, up-to-date, site-specific rules for each sport. So make sure you read these before opening day. If you have any questions at all, contact your site coordinator. Officiating. For each game, there will be one ref on the field. They are trained staff, but they're not professionally certified, y'all. They're human and they make mistakes. We do our best to recruit refs that are passionate for sports and passionate for helping kids. But we know that things come up. So we want you as coaches to work with them to ensure fun and safety of all players. And if you have any issues at all with any refs, please let us know. We only can help you to the extent that you let us know what's going on. You're the ones on the fields. That's why as coaches, I said, you're the hands and feet of I-9. You know what's going on, so please let us know, your site coordinator, if there's any issues with any refs. Same for parents. Every I-9 parent is responsible and expected to read and adhere to the I-9 parental pledge. It's online. You're welcome to read it as well. Many of you are parents, and so you are familiar with it. If there are any issues with parents, please communicate that to us. Like I said, we are here to support you and help you and make sure everyone has a fun and safe time. Speaking of safety, player safety is number one, of course. That is why we do what we do. We want to make sure they have a safe and fun environment. The rules exist to ensure this safety, so remember that too. Remember that in your role of reviewing those rules and how important that is to maintaining safety. Specifically for sports, we want to address here concussion safety. You can see here some of the signs of concussion. We want to make sure that you have the knowledge to understand when you need to address this issue. And the I-9 policy in general for safety, but especially concussions, is when in doubt, sit them out, y'all. That is the best policy, and we do enforce that. So please, please, please make sure to sit that child out if there's any indication that they might be suffering from any injury or concussion. If there is something serious injury, please go to the red tent and find your site coordinator. You can get ice there, first aid kit, and any support that you need. If it is more serious injury or incident, make sure you find your site coordinator for sure and immediately. They'll initiate you filing an incident report, which we have to do. So here are some last minute miscellaneous things. First, assistant coaches. We've mentioned it already, but we encourage you to get an assistant coach. We really want every single team this year to have one. Not only are they extremely helpful during practices, but it's a great way to brainstorm with someone else, and they're there for you in case you can't make one weekend, either planned or unplanned. It really ensures a fun and productive experience for all involved. Where you can get an assistant coach, use your parents. Again, most of you coaches are parents. Find another parent that didn't maybe want the full responsibility of being a coach, but would love to help out. That's where you're really going to get most of your assistant coaching. Then check with us. We have a running list of volunteers that are interested in each sport, and we would love to connect them with an experience of coaching with you. Every assistant coach will have to complete the background check and the coach's exam. Y'all, they're no different. They're on the same level as you guys. They just have a different title and a slightly different role. But that ensures safety and integrity at I-9. So no coach shirt unless you've done the background check and the exam. We want everyone to be official. It's fine if a parent pops in your absence or just helps out with one game. Maybe your assistant coach can't make it. That's fine. But if it's going to be a regular thing, we want everyone to be background checked and have that coaching exam. It's all about safety and making sure we're doing the right thing. Speaking of absences, this has been something that we really want to communicate this season and make it run as smoothly as possible. So here's the protocol. Communicate all absences, whether they're planned, you know ahead of time, or unplanned. Something happens that day. Communicate all absences to the site coordinator and your parents. So what that looks like, if you have a planned absence, which I hope you do in some ways, you're going on family vacation, or you have someone coming in town, or whatever you got going on, it's your responsibility to connect with the site coordinator and tell them who's going to take over. This is when your assistant coach is a lifesaver, because oftentimes it's just going to be them and it works seamlessly, and that's great. But if you don't have an assistant coach, or your assistant coach is also out for some reason, it is your responsibility to secure a fill-in for that weekend. You have to find coverage. Again, ask parents. That's when you're emailing them saying, hey, anyone want to step in for one day? Or ask some other people that you know that you trust that will adhere to the standards and integrity of I-9. It is your responsibility. Once you've found a fill-in, you have to connect to your site coordinator and give them 2 bits of information. One, the full name of your fill-in and their contact number. We have to have this, so if anything happens that day, we're aware and it'll run really, really smooth. For unplanned absences, hey, we know it happens. We're all human and things come up, especially when you're trying to get your own kids together to get out on the fields. So that's fine. We're willing to work with you, and we will, but you have to give us a call. So just call when you know you're not going to make it. Call or text your site coordinator. Once you've called or texted your site coordinator, email your parents. It's so important, and they love hearing from you, even after the fact. Just send an email, say, hey, I'm sorry I missed today's game, and I'm looking forward to next weekend. That just lets them know that you're there and you care, and they'll know that you're coming the next weekend. If you will be 15 minutes or more late to practice, you have to call your site coordinator or text them. This will make sure that we find coverage for your practice. There's nothing worse than having a bunch of kids who are so excited to start their practice and there's no coach there. Again, we understand and we'll work with you, but the more we know, the better we can serve all of the players. Weather hotline, y'all. We know it's Florida. It's going up and down. Things can change on a dime. We have an I-9 weather hotline just for that reason. Always call before you come if you're not sure. It is live. The number will be on the last slide, so make sure you save it in your phone. 850-724-3919. It's a must-have. Everyone, that's staff, coaches, parents, everyone will be notified when there's a cancellation due to weather, and that'll be via email. But as a coach, it's your responsibility still to outreach to your roster. It's always good to have that a reminder. Again, it's about building trust and rapport with your parents. So even though they'll get the email from I-9, it's still great, and we expect them to also get the email from you about any weather cancellations. This information will also be on the website, and again, calling that hotline, you'll know immediately. Okay, now we're getting built up. We've gone through a lot of information. The last thing we're going to cover is opening day, which is Jamboree. I love opening day. It's kind of nuts, but it's super fun. Everything's going on, and it's a really vibrant atmosphere. So there's a couple things different for opening day that have a different structure than the rest of the weekends. You always check in, right? So first thing, you're showing up 15 minutes early and you're going to the red tent. You're checking in and connecting with your site coordinator and staff. There, you're gonna pick up all your jerseys and your coach shirt. Your roster will also be in your pickup bag. You'll have everything you need to have a great first day. Your role and responsibility on Jamboree Day is to distribute your jerseys. Kids are really excited to get them and they don't have them yet. So that's the number one question we get from parents, is when they're gonna get their jerseys, and they'll get them that day. Get to know your players and your parents. This is a fun day. We don't call it Jamboree for nothing. We really want it to be festive and exciting. And for that reason, there's no scores taken on first day. We want, again, to people focus on the relationships and not the scores for opening day. So focus on building those relationships, because that's what makes I-9 awesome and unique. Recommended for coaches, and something I used to do on Jamboree Day, do some name games with your players. Definitely go over skills, and like we mentioned, start simple so you can gauge skill level, but have some fun things, name games. They don't know each other yet, and you don't know them either, so it works both ways for you and the players. Also, this is a great time to recruit assistant coach. If you show up to Jamboree Day and you don't have one, you should leave Jamboree Day with one. So the parents are there, they're eager. Introduce yourself and see if anyone has interest in being an assistant coach if you don't have one. And lastly, really important, and this is such a fun part of opening day, is picking a team name. I've been with I-9 for several years, and I've seen a lot of interesting team names. Have fun, and ultimately, it's the player's choice. So make sure there's different ideas, and I always did a very democratic vote system. So we would have all the ideas presented and we would all vote. And last season, I actually had the parents vote too. So it was really their part of the process, and it was really fun. So once you've decided on your name, remember that's day one. Don't leave the field without getting a team name. And it's your responsibility. You can either tell the referee, they'll put it on the scorecard, and it'll go back to your site coordinator, which is perfect. Or if you don't remember to do that, that's fine. Before you leave the fields that day, go to the red tent and make sure the staff or the site coordinator gets your team name. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope that this was beneficial and informative, and I hope that it helped answer some of your questions, and I hope it encouraged you and got you really excited about this season. I know we're excited. I want to leave on some contact information, things you have to have in your phone. Christy Proant, put her number and her email in your phone. I-9 communication, 95% of it is on email. So make sure you turn on your notifications and check your email often throughout the season. Here's my contact information as well. We're so excited. We're looking forward to meeting you, having a great season, and we'll see you on the fields.